Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Have you ever wondered what would happen if you just let go? What if the key to peace and happiness lies in releasing the things that no longer serve you? Hi there, and welcome back to our channel, Son.Mindfulness. I'm so glad you're here with us today. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful tools for finding peace: letting go. It sounds simple, right? But so many of us are caught in the trap of holding on to things that drain us. From old habits to outdated beliefs to relationships that no longer bring us joy, letting go can be the hardest yet most liberating thing we do. The truth is, many of us are stuck in cycles of stress and worry, constantly holding on to what we think we need. But the real question is, what if the key to moving forward is in releasing that grip? What if by letting go of our need to control everything, we open ourselves up to a life of freedom and fulfillment? This is exactly what we'll explore in today's video. You'll learn how letting go can transform your life and help you live with more peace, joy, and alignment. And you'll discover why this practice is so crucial, especially in today's fast-paced world where we often feel overwhelmed by expectations and stress. At Son.Mindfulness, we're all about helping you find balance, inner peace, and mindfulness in your daily life. If you're new here, be sure to hit the subscribe button and join our community of like-minded individuals who are on a journey of self-discovery and growth. Now, are you ready to start letting go of the things that no longer serve you? Stick with us, because we've got some powerful insights coming your way. In the next part of the video, we'll dive into how letting go isn't about weakness, but about the strength to surrender to life's natural flow. Part 2. The illusion of control. Clinging to the illusion of security. How often have you caught yourself trying to control everything around you? Your career, your relationships, even your very thoughts. It's as if you're holding the reins of life, believing that your grip will guide you towards safety. But in reality, are you really in control, or are you simply clinging to an illusion? We all feel it, the need to control, to make sure everything goes as planned. The truth is, we all desire certainty. We want to know what's coming, to feel safe and secure in a world that constantly shifts beneath our feet. But here's the hard truth. Control is an illusion. The deeper you grip, the more you start to feel the weight. It becomes exhausting, doesn't it? The endless battle to keep things together. You tell yourself, if I just try harder, maybe this time it'll all fall into place. Yet the more you struggle, the more things slip away. It's not because you're failing, it's because you're trying to control the uncontrollable. The root causes of our desire for control. At the heart of our desire to control lies a deep-seated fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure. Fear of losing what we have. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever held on to a relationship or a job that no longer made you happy? Perhaps you stayed because you were afraid of what would happen if you let go. Maybe you feared the uncertainty of what would fill that space. This desire for control, this need to hold on, often stems from an internal belief that if we can control something, anything, we can make it predictable, safe. We're driven by the hope that if we manage things just right, we can avoid the chaos of life's unpredictability. But isn't it true that the more we try to control, the more we lose our sense of peace? The very things we are holding on to so tightly, be it a job that no longer aligns with us or a relationship that has outlived its purpose, are the things that keep us stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction. This is where Buddhist teachings can shed light. In Buddhism, we talk about anicca, the concept of impermanence. Life is ever-changing. Nothing stays the same. The moment we attempt to hold on to something that is meant to change, we invite dukkha, suffering, into our lives. The suffering of holding on. Take, for example, the story of Steve Jobs. He was known for his relentless pursuit of perfection, and his intense drive to control Apple's direction. But even Steve Jobs had to learn that letting go was sometimes the best thing for the company and for his own well-being. Jobs famously returned to Apple after a period of absence, and one of the first decisions he made was to cut back on the company's extensive product lines. He realized that holding on to everything, trying to control every aspect of Apple's offerings, was suffocating the company's true potential. He let go of the need to control everything, and in doing so, Apple found its way back to its true essence. Jobs found peace not through control, but through the courage to let go of unnecessary distractions and focus on what truly mattered. But not all of us are as quick to realize this. How many of us continue to hold on to relationships that drain us, jobs that no longer align with our true selves, or identities that don't reflect who we've become? We hold on, often because we fear what might happen if we let go. The fear of being alone, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown. But the truth is, holding on to what no longer serves us only creates more pain. It traps us in a loop of fear and dissatisfaction. The truth about letting go. What if the secret to peace isn't in controlling everything, but in letting go? When we let go, we stop fighting against the current of life. It doesn't mean we stop taking action, but it means we stop fighting against the inevitable flow of change. Instead of holding on to the things that aren't aligned with our purpose, we begin to embrace what comes naturally. Think about it. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It's choosing freedom over the weight of control. It's like letting go of a heavy rock you've been carrying for miles. At first, it's hard to release your grip, but once you do, you realize how much lighter you feel. Your hands are free to receive the new opportunities that life brings. When you let go of the need to control everything, you start to see the world differently. You begin to notice the signs of life unfolding naturally in ways that might have been impossible to imagine when you were caught in the struggle. Life is constantly evolving. The people, the places, the situations, everything is in flux. Holding on too tightly creates tension and anxiety. But by letting go, you allow space for new things to come in, for new growth to happen. Real-life examples of letting go. Think about Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison. His fight wasn't just against apartheid, it was also against the desire to hold on to anger and resentment. He had to let go of the pain and the need for revenge to truly step into his role as a leader for peace. Mandela understood that holding on to hatred only perpetuates suffering. Letting go of it allowed him to move forward, and in doing so, he inspired the world to do the same. Let's not overlook the everyday people around us. How many of us are holding on to relationships or jobs that no longer serve us? We stay because we think we have no other option, or worse, because we're afraid of being alone or failing. But consider this. What would it be like if you finally let go of the things that no longer align with who you are? What would it feel like to step into the unknown with trust instead of fear? The truth is, we'll never know until we try. We all have a choice. We can continue to cling to what is slipping away, or we can make the decision to release the grip and see where life takes us. The next part of this journey is crucial. Letting go is not a passive act. It is not about simply giving up and walking away. It takes tremendous courage to release what no longer serves us, to surrender control and trust the process of life. In the next section, we will explore how letting go is actually a radical act of freedom. It's about choosing the power to move forward without the chains of fear and attachment. Are you ready to discover the courage to let go and embrace the freedom that comes with it? Keep reading as we dive into the courage of letting go, a radical act of freedom. Part 3. The courage of letting go, a radical act of freedom. Let's take a moment to think about this. What if letting go is the bravest thing you could ever do? We're told our whole lives to hold on, to push through, to never quit. But sometimes true strength isn't in holding on tight, it's in having the courage to let go. It's a radical act. It's the kind of act that changes everything. When you let go, you stop living in constant fear of the unknown. You begin to embrace freedom, the kind that comes not from control, but from trust. But why does it feel so difficult? Why is it that, even when we know we need to let go of something, we hesitate? The fear of letting go. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that letting go means giving up. And in a world that celebrates constant striving, giving up seems like failure, doesn't it? We've all been conditioned to think that success comes only when we hold on, when we fight, when we push through every obstacle. But this mindset keeps us chained to things that no longer serve us. Imagine trying to hold on to a rope that's burning your hands. At first you think, if I just hold on a little longer, I can make it through. But the more you hold on, the more it hurts. What if letting go of the rope is the way to truly free yourself? This is where courage comes in. It takes courage to let go of old patterns, old identities, and even old dreams that no longer align with who you are becoming. It takes courage to step into the unknown, to trust that life will unfold in ways you can't predict. Embracing the unknown. The unknown is terrifying, isn't it? It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, not knowing what lies beneath. But here's the thing. The moment you let go of the need for control, you begin to see that the unknown isn't as scary as it seems. It's filled with infinite possibilities, if only you are willing to release your fear and trust the process. Think about Mahatma Gandhi, who fought for independence in India through non-violent resistance. He had to let go of the traditional ways of fighting, of using force. He chose peace and trust over control and violence. It was his willingness to let go of the conventional methods that changed the course of history. In the same way, when you decide to let go of your attachment to control, you open up space for new opportunities and new growth. You stop trying to force life to fit your expectations. Instead, you flow with it, you trust it, and you allow it to guide you. The freedom in letting go. So what happens when you let go? You feel lighter. You feel freer. It's like you've been carrying a heavy load for years and finally put it down. You start to see the world through new eyes, ones that are no longer clouded by fear, doubt, or the need to control. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. She could have stayed in her comfort zone, clinging to the familiar and safe, but she didn't. She let go of what wasn't working for her, and in doing so, she became a force for positive change in the world. Oprah trusted the process of life, even when it didn't make sense at the time. Letting go isn't about passivity. It's about actively choosing to release what is no longer serving you and making space for something better. It's about saying, I trust myself enough to walk away from what doesn't align with my purpose. And when you let go in this way, you'll find that life starts to meet you halfway. The courage to move on. The courage to let go isn't just about walking away from things. It's also about walking towards something new. Maybe it's a new career, a new relationship, or a new chapter in your life that you've been too afraid to start. The key is that, in order to embrace the new, you must let go of the old. Take the story of J.K. Rowling, for example. Before she became one of the wealthiest authors in the world, she was a single mother, struggling to make ends meet. She let go of the fear that she wasn't good enough to succeed. She believed in her story, and through her courage to let go of doubt, she created a literary empire. Now ask yourself, what's holding you back? What are you still clinging to that's preventing you from stepping into your own freedom? The fear of letting go can keep us trapped in situations and circumstances that don't serve our highest good. But here's the truth. The moment you let go, you free yourself from the weight of fear, doubt, and attachment. You allow your life to unfold with grace, ease, and peace. The strength in surrender. Here's the paradox. The more you let go, the stronger you become. By surrendering control, you gain a deeper sense of power. Not the power to control, but the power to trust and align with life's natural flow. It's in this surrender that true strength lies. It's easy to think that strength is about holding on tight, but real strength is knowing when to let go. When you choose to release, you give yourself permission to live authentically, free from the pressure of constantly trying to control everything around you. Letting go is not a passive choice, it's an active one, requiring both courage and wisdom. And in this journey of releasing, we begin to discover a new way of living that is both aligned and peaceful. It's about finding balance between action and surrender. This is where the middle path comes in, a path of balance, of knowing when to act and when to trust, of releasing what doesn't serve us without losing sight of our true direction. In the next section, we'll explore how finding the middle path is the key to not only letting go, but also navigating life with wisdom, balance, and clarity. Are you ready to learn how to walk this balanced path and find peace in the process? Keep reading as we explore the middle path, finding balance in letting go. Part 4. The middle path, finding balance in letting go. Life is full of extremes. We are taught to strive, push, and fight for everything we want. On the other hand, there's the allure of doing nothing at all, of giving up completely. But what if true peace lies somewhere in the middle? The middle path is one of the most profound teachings of Buddhism. It's about balance, finding the harmony between effort and surrender, between control and letting go. It's the recognition that neither extreme is the answer. So, how do we walk this path in our everyday lives? The middle path. Not too much, not too little. The middle path doesn't mean passivity or complacency. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's about finding a rhythm between doing and being, between taking action and allowing things to unfold naturally. Think about the Raja Yoga philosophy in Buddhism, which emphasizes mental discipline and control. It's about having a focused mind, a disciplined approach to life, but also knowing when to relax, when to release, and when to trust the process. It's about avoiding the extremes of over-effort and total inaction. Too much control leaves us anxious, while too little leaves us directionless. This is where the middle path shines. It's the sweet spot between the two extremes. The balance between holding on and letting go, between effort and surrender. The balance of effort and trust. Let's think about a plant. You don't force a seed to grow. You plant it in the right environment, water it, and provide sunlight. But you don't stand over it, constantly checking, forcing it to grow faster. You trust the process. You trust that, if given the right conditions, the seed will grow in its own time. In the same way, the middle path is about creating the right conditions for growth, within yourself and in your life, without forcing anything. You take action where needed, but you also understand that some things must unfold naturally. Trusting that life will unfold at its own pace. You don't need to control everything. You just need to trust that, by releasing your grip on control, you will allow space for things to grow in ways that you never expected. Letting go without losing direction. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning your goals, your dreams, or your sense of purpose. It simply means releasing the attachment to how things should unfold. It's about letting go of the how and trusting the what. Trusting that what is meant for you will come, even if it doesn't look exactly like you expected. Think about Albert Einstein, who revolutionized the world of physics with his theory of relativity. He wasn't obsessed with control. He embraced curiosity and exploration. Einstein didn't let rigid thinking hold him back. He was willing to let go of traditional ideas in order to make room for new possibilities. In the same way, you can pursue your dreams with commitment, but without attaching yourself to rigid outcomes. This doesn't mean being passive. It means trusting that when you let go of the pressure to control every detail, the universe will guide you toward what's meant for you. A story of balance, the wise archer. Let me share a story to illustrate this. In ancient times, there was a wise archer who was famous for his skill. One day, a young student asked him, "Master, what's the secret to your perfect aim?" The archer smiled and said, "I never try to control the arrow. I aim, release the string, and trust that the arrow will find its mark." The student was puzzled. "But don't you need to control everything to make sure the arrow hits its target?" The master replied, "No, I trust that my aim is true, but once the arrow is released, I let go. If I keep holding on, I will only create chaos and miss the target." This story beautifully illustrates the balance of effort and release. The archer takes action, he aims the arrow, but he doesn't control its flight. In life, we aim for our goals, but we must also trust the process and let go of the need to control the outcome. Finding peace in the middle. When you walk the middle path, you discover something beautiful. Peace. The peace that comes from no longer being consumed by the need to control every detail of your life. You stop fighting against what is, and instead you move with life's flow. Imagine a river. It doesn't fight against rocks or obstacles. It flows around them, adapting to the path it must take. This is the essence of the middle path. Not fighting against life, but flowing with it. The middle path teaches us that balance is the key to happiness and fulfillment. But life, of course, is full of distractions and pressures from the outside world. From societal expectations to family beliefs, we often find ourselves pulled in directions that are not true to our own path. What happens when we let the external world dictate our choices? How do we find our own path when the noise around us is so loud? In the next section, we will explore how external influences and misalignment can keep us stuck. We'll dive into how releasing the hold of societal expectations and outside pressures allows us to find our true direction. Ready to discover the power of releasing the weight of the world's expectations? Keep reading as we explore external influences and misalignment, releasing the noise and finding your own path. Part 5. External influences and misalignment. Releasing the noise and finding your own path. How much of your life is driven by what others think? How much of your decisions, your desires, and even your sense of self have been shaped by external pressures? We live in a world where societal expectations, family values, and cultural norms often dictate how we live our lives. But here's the hard truth. Letting others control your path leads to misalignment with your true self. Imagine if you stopped listening to the outside world for a moment. What if you could finally hear your own inner voice, the one that's been drowned out by all the noise? What if the key to your peace and happiness was to let go of the external pressures and step into the life that was meant for you? The burden of external expectations. From the moment we're born, we are surrounded by expectations. Our families tell us what's right or wrong. Society imposes standards of success, beauty, and behavior. Social media bombards us with images of perfect lives and lifestyles. These external forces can shape our choices without us even realizing it. But here's the catch. Letting go of external expectations is one of the hardest things to do. We fear rejection. We fear judgment. We worry that if we don't conform, we won't belong. But the truth is, clinging to these external pressures creates suffering. It keeps us disconnected from our true selves. Think about the story of Princess Diana, who lived much of her life under the scrutiny of the public eye. She was constantly expected to be a perfect wife, mother, and figure of royalty. But despite the weight of those expectations, Diana found the courage to let go of the life that didn't align with her heart. She stepped out of the royal confines and became a force for good in the world. Her journey wasn't without pain, but through letting go of external pressures, she found her own voice and purpose. The trap of social media and comparison. Social media is one of the loudest external forces today. We scroll through perfect pictures, perfect families, and perfect lives, and suddenly our own lives seem insufficient. We compare ourselves to others, wondering why we don't have the same success, beauty, or happiness. But here's the secret. Letting go of comparison is liberating. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you stop judging your life through someone else's lens. You start to see that your journey is unique and beautiful, regardless of what the world tells you. You begin to realize that you don't need to measure up to anyone else's standards. Your worth isn't defined by the number of likes you get or by how many followers you have. It's defined by your inner peace, your authenticity, and your connection to your true self. The freedom of releasing misalignment. Misalignment happens when we live our lives based on external influences rather than internal guidance. We take jobs we don't love because our parents think it's the right choice. We stay in relationships that no longer serve us because we're afraid of what people might think. We follow paths that society deems successful, even though they don't bring us fulfillment. But here's the reality. Letting go of misalignment is the first step toward finding true fulfillment. When you stop following others' paths and start creating your own, you step into alignment with your heart and soul. You begin to experience a deep sense of peace that only comes from living authentically. Take Malala Yousafzai, for example. She defied not just societal expectations, but the violent forces that tried to silence her. She let go of the fear of what might happen and chose to speak out for girls' education, no matter the cost. Her journey wasn't easy, but by living in alignment with her values, she became a global symbol of courage and hope. The journey to authenticity. How do you begin to let go of external influences? It starts with getting quiet enough to hear your own voice. It's about tuning into what feels right for you, not based on what anyone else says. Ask yourself, what do you truly want? What are the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and peace? Letting go of external pressures is about listening to that inner voice and trusting that you know what's best for you. It's about saying no to the things that drain you and yes to the things that light you up. It's about making choices that align with your values, not the values of others. Releasing the noise to find your true path. It's time to release the noise and find your own path. It's time to stop living for others and start living for yourself. When you let go of the weight of the world's expectations, you free yourself to live a life that is truly yours. You start to see the world not through the eyes of comparison, but through the eyes of authenticity. Think about Brené Brown, who became a well-known speaker and author, not by following the traditional path of success, but by embracing vulnerability and courage. She chose to let go of the fear of judgment and instead embrace the power of her story. By doing so, she found not only success, but also a sense of deep fulfillment. Now ask yourself, what external influences are you still holding on to? What pressures are you carrying that don't belong to you? What would your life look like if you started letting go of the noise? The journey to finding your own path is only possible when we release the outside world's control over us. But letting go isn't just about releasing others' expectations. It's about surrendering to life itself. In the next part, we'll explore how surrendering control doesn't make you weak, it makes you powerful. Are you ready to discover the strength in surrender and the freedom that comes with it? Keep reading as we delve into the power of surrender, aligning with life's flow. Part 6, the power of surrender, aligning with life's flow, surrender. It's a word that many of us avoid. We've been taught our whole lives that surrender means weakness, that it's about giving up, about losing control. But what if I told you that surrender is the key to unlocking your true power? What if the real strength comes not from holding on so tightly, but from letting go? The truth is, surrender is not about giving up. It's about aligning with life's flow. It's about releasing the need to control everything and allowing life to unfold as it is meant to. The power in letting go of control. We are all familiar with the desire to control. It's natural to want to control our circumstances, our relationships, our futures. But here's the thing. No matter how hard we try, we can't control everything, and trying to do so only creates frustration and anxiety. Think about a time when you were desperately trying to control something. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, or even a situation that was out of your hands. The more you tried to force it, the more things seemed to fall apart. And yet, the moment you stopped fighting and let go, things began to shift. This is the power of surrender. When you release the need to control, you allow life to take over, and in doing so, you align yourself with its natural rhythm. The paradox of surrender. It sounds paradoxical, doesn't it? We've been conditioned to believe that strength comes from control, from pushing harder and doing more. But the real strength comes from the ability to surrender. Take the example of a river. A river doesn't fight its path. It simply follows the flow, adjusting and adapting to whatever comes its way. It doesn't resist obstacles. It doesn't try to force its way through the mountains. It surrenders to the flow of nature. When we surrender, we stop fighting life. We allow ourselves to flow with it, to trust that everything is unfolding as it should. This doesn't mean we stop taking action. It means we stop forcing outcomes and instead trust that life will meet us where we need to be. Surrendering to what is. One of the most powerful aspects of surrender is accepting things as they are, not as we wish they would be. This is where the true peace of surrender lies. When we stop fighting against reality and accept what is, we stop the inner conflict that causes so much stress. Consider the story of Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now. He struggled with deep depression and despair for years. But the moment he let go of his constant resistance to his thoughts and feelings, he found peace. He surrendered to the present moment, to what was, and in that surrender, he discovered a deep sense of inner calm. This is what surrender offers us, the freedom to accept what is and to find peace in the present moment. Trusting life's flow. Surrender is not about giving up on your goals or dreams. It's about trusting that the universe has a plan for you, one that is unfolding perfectly. When you stop trying to force things to happen, you make space for something better to emerge. It's like planting a seed in the ground. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust that, if given the right conditions, it will grow in its own time. In the same way, when you let go of your need to control the timing of your life, you create the space for things to unfold naturally. You trust that the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances will come into your life at exactly the right moment. The courage to surrender. Surrender isn't easy. It requires courage. It requires letting go of the familiar, of the illusion of control, and stepping into the unknown with trust. But once you do, you'll discover a new sense of freedom. You'll find that the more you let go and trust life's flow, the more you align with your true path. Take Mahatma Gandhi again, for example. He fought for independence, but he did so not through force, but through nonviolent resistance. He surrendered to the power of peace and trust, even when it seemed like the world was against him. His ability to surrender to a higher cause, to trust in the goodness of people, became the cornerstone of his strength. Gandhi's surrender wasn't a defeat. It was a powerful act of trust, and it led to one of the most significant movements in history. The strength in surrender. The strength in surrender comes from knowing that you don't have to fight every battle, every moment. You don't have to control everything to feel empowered. Instead, you can choose to trust in the process of life. When you surrender, you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You stop chasing after things that aren't aligned with your true self. You make space for what is meant for you to enter. This is true freedom. The freedom to be yourself, to trust life's flow, and to know that everything is unfolding as it should. Now that we've explored the power of surrender, you might be asking, what happens when we fully release our attachments? How do we know when to stop clinging and start trusting? In the next section, we'll dive into how letting go isn't just a passive action, but a gateway to discovering your true path. Are you ready to release what's holding you back and step into a life of true alignment? Keep reading as we explore letting go and finding your true path, aligning with your purpose. Part 7. Letting go and finding your true path, aligning with your purpose. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to truly align with your purpose? To stop chasing after things that aren't meant for you and start living a life that feels authentic and fulfilling? The journey of letting go isn't just about releasing things, it's about creating space for the life you're truly meant to live. It's about shedding the layers of who you thought you should be and embracing who you really are. So how do you find your true path? How do you know when you're truly aligned with your purpose? The power of letting go to find your purpose. Finding your purpose requires a deep sense of self-awareness. It's about getting quiet enough to listen to your inner voice, the one that's been drowned out by the noise of the world. We spend so much time trying to control our paths, striving for success, chasing after what others expect of us, that we often forget to check in with ourselves. But here's the thing. When you let go of external expectations, the pressure to conform, and the need to control your destiny, you begin to hear that inner voice more clearly. It's in that quiet space that you can find the clarity to step onto your true path. Think about Marie Curie, who became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. She could have easily been distracted by society's limitations on women in science, but she let go of those societal pressures and followed her passion. In doing so, she discovered a purpose that not only changed her life, but the world. Releasing the old to make room for the new. When you let go of the things that no longer serve you, you create space for the new. It's like cleaning out your closet. You make room for fresh energy, for new opportunities, and for new directions that align with who you are today. Letting go of the past isn't easy, but it's necessary. You can't step into the future if you're still carrying the weight of the past. This is one of the most liberating aspects of letting go. It frees you to embrace new opportunities and challenges without being burdened by what's already behind you. Just like Steve Jobs did when he returned to Apple, letting go of old projects and focusing on what truly mattered allowed him to realign with his purpose and vision. By doing so, he helped Apple become one of the most influential companies in the world. Trusting the process and stepping into your purpose. The path to your purpose may not be clear right away, but that's okay. The key is to trust the process, knowing that by letting go of what no longer fits, you are making space for what's truly meant for you. Step by step, as you release control and allow life to unfold, you will find yourself on a path that feels authentic and true. Oprah Winfrey is a great example of someone who found her true purpose by trusting her journey. Her story wasn't always easy, and she could have easily stayed stuck in the noise of public expectations. But Oprah let go of the need for external validation and followed her true passion. And today, she is a global leader in media and philanthropy, someone who aligned with her purpose and changed the world in the process. Embracing your true path now. Think about your own life. What have you been holding on to that no longer aligns with your true self? What dreams, relationships, or habits have you been clinging to, even though they're no longer serving you? Letting go of these things is your first step toward discovering your true path. It's about aligning with who you are now, not who you were yesterday or who others think you should be. By releasing the old and trusting the process, you'll find yourself walking toward a future that is uniquely yours. You have everything you need inside of you to live the life you're meant to live. The key is to let go of the fear, the attachment, and the control that's been holding you back. Trust that when you release the past and align with your true self, the right opportunities, people, and experiences will come into your life. Letting go isn't always easy, but it's one of the most important steps toward finding peace, purpose, and freedom. It's about trusting the process, aligning with your true path, and creating space for the life you deserve. In the conclusion, we'll wrap everything up and reflect on how letting go is not just a choice. It's a powerful, transformative journey. Are you ready to stop holding on to the things that no longer serve you and finally embrace the life that's waiting for you? Keep reading as we conclude with the final thoughts on the power of letting go and living with purpose. Conclusion: the power of letting go and living with purpose. Thank you for staying with us on this journey of letting go. By now, you've explored how releasing control can unlock true freedom. You've seen how letting go of attachments to old beliefs, fears, and external expectations can transform your life. This is not just a concept, it's a practice that requires courage, trust, and most importantly, self-compassion. Now that you understand the power of letting go, the next step is to apply these lessons in your life. How can you begin to release what's no longer serving you? What old fears, habits, or relationships are you still holding on to that might be preventing you from moving forward? Letting go doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, a practice that unfolds over time. But every small step you take to release what's holding you back brings you closer to the life you're meant to live. As you begin to apply these practices, you'll start to notice shifts, both big and small, that bring you peace, clarity, and joy. It's time to step into your true power. It's time to trust yourself and the process of life. I want to take a moment to express my deep gratitude to you for joining me on this journey. Your willingness to explore these ideas and to open your heart to change is truly inspiring. I commend you for taking the first steps toward a life of peace and purpose. Now, I encourage you to take action. Practice letting go in your daily life. Notice the areas where you're holding on too tightly and begin to release them one by one. Allow yourself the freedom to breathe, to be present, and to align with your true path. If you found value in this content, please consider subscribing to our channel Son.Mindfulness for more insights and practices. We would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Please feel free to share them in the comments section below. Your voice is important, and your experiences can inspire others on their journey. Thank you for your time and attention. May you always be surrounded by peace, health, and happiness, and may letting go bring you the freedom and fulfillment you've been seeking. Until next time, take care and be well. Thank you.